What's going on, sports fans? Once again, it's K-Stu the GOAT for Vernon Speak Sports, talking about Auburn football and the rest of the SEC. Want to give a shout out to my fearless and true gang, War Eagle. We're about 4 days away from National Signing Day. And man, George Pickens, we got to have you, brother. Go ahead and sign, put your Auburn hat on and the jersey and all that other stuff, and come on and join the squad. One thing I want to talk about today, though, is when I reflect back on last season's Auburn going 8-5. Now, this is a team, even with some of the miscues, still should have been a 10-win team last year. Obviously should have beaten Tennessee. No excuse for losing to Tennessee. No excuse for surrendering the lead against LSU as they had it. And you have the very arguable touchdown callback in the Mississippi State game that changed the whole trajectory of that game. And Auburn, you're looking at a 10 or an 11 win Auburn season. So, I mean, 8-5 obviously is disappointing. Everyone wants to blame. I mean, when in doubt, everyone is blaming Gus. Always blame Gus. Even though you dial up a play against Tennessee with Darius Slayton wide open, I mean, it couldn't have gotten any better than that. You blame Gus. You blame Gus for Jarrett Stidham fumbling inside the red zone against Tennessee twice. You can't blame Gus for that. You blame execution for that. So that's another video. But anyway, going back to the offensive line, J.B. Grimes is the offensive line's coach. I think J.B. Grimes is more than capable of having these guys prepared for the 2019 season. His teams usually average around 450-something yards per game and about 34.2 points overall in his career. He's been very successful with the development of high-level offensive linemen during his tenure, and I think that won't be any different because, look, you know, he has had a lot of success with dual-threat quarterbacks. He coached Cam Newton. He coached with Nick Marshall, things of that nature. He's had offensive linemen, Reese Dismukes and Greg Robinson, who were all SEC. So he has the ability to develop players on a high level. But the thing is, one thing you have to do is you have to put your team, your offensive lineman in a position to be successful. I think with all the inconsistencies with the play calling, schemes that they were trying to execute, at times the offensive line just looked lost. I mean, there were times where as soon as Jarrett Stidham snapped the football, he was literally running for his life. In my honest opinion, I don't think that is a ability issue. I think that is a confusion issue. I think that's a lack of communication issue. And with these guys having a lot of experience under their belt, dealing with some of the high-tier teams in the SEC and having a magnificent game against Purdue where they were able to sustain drives and break some big plays and really help to gain themselves some confidence, I think this offensive line will be very, very good this year. With pretty much the whole offensive unit returning, it's just something about experience that garnishes you that confidence. Hey, we weathered the storm. We went 8-5, but we did have some successes in that thing. As a matter of fact, I'll point out a success. When these guys block downhill, they're actually pretty good because they started to really push teams like Southern Miss off the ball. Purdue obviously pushed them off the ball. But when they had to be creative with the blocking schemes and have to do a lot of reading and a lot of technique, that's where they started to fall apart. So I think what Auburn is going to have to do, they're going to have to make sure that they really take this spring football time to really execute the blocking schemes. Auburn returns Prince Wanago, Markel Harrell, Kim Caleb, Mike Horton, Jack Driscoll. All of these guys are coming back. Caleb Kim's play is going to be very, very, very key because this run-pass option offense is really predicated off of effective play in the center of the football. First of all, you got to get a really good snap off. Then, in getting that good snap off, the timing of the block, of the initial block, especially if you're playing against an elite defensive tackle, you have to really have the hands and feet and the upper body strength and mobility to maneuver that defensive tackle to make this run pass option work. Now, like I said before, a boatload of talent. Prince Wanagu is very big and he's very physical. If they can get the assignments down, I think this offensive line can be something very special because they have all the tools in place to help execute this. They're probably going to have a formidable dual threat quarterback. Not sure who it will be, whether it will be Bo Nix, whether it will be Joey Gatewood, or whether it will be Malik Willis. All of those guys, if they can execute the playbook, can be leaders at the quarterback position. It's just going to depend on, who can have the most influence on the team, who can be that leader, kind of like Nick Marshall was, or Cam Newton was, or even at times Jarrett Stidham, who can take the team and lead the team to a whole nother level. Once again, it's K-Stu the GOAT with Vernon Speak Sports, mostly talking about Auburn football and the rest of the SEC. We're looking forward to much better offensive line play, led by offensive line coach JB Grimes. I think Auburn will be all right, and especially using that Purdue game as somewhat of an encouragement. You all take it easy and war damn Eagle.